So the first tip I want to give is to consider moving to the city center, which in Miami Beach would be around Lincoln Road and Meridian Avenue, which is where City Hall is located. And the reason I think that's a really good idea, especially for people moving from out of state, is that you'd definitely still be close. You'd be walking distance actually to supermarkets, to your doctor, to restaurants, to entertainment, all of that stuff. You won't even actually need to get into a car or an Uber or a bus or anything like that to do any of these things, as long as you're living pretty much all of South Beach, I would say is not only walkable, but definitely all centralized. So you can pretty much do everything you need to do here and only leave if you actually want to go either downtown, Wynwood, or toward Coral Gables, the Grove, Kendall, and all of those places. And just to give you an idea, if you are living in the middle of South Beach, you're probably about, with traffic, 20 to 30 minutes from the Wynwood Walls. You're probably 15 to 20 minutes from downtown, and I would say 30 minutes to 45 minutes from Coral Gables, depending on what part of the Gables. So you definitely would want to take that into consideration if you're considering commuting. But nonetheless, if you do choose to find a place in South Beach, you can pretty much do everything there unless you actually don't work on the island. So that's definitely something to consider. For tip number 2, I just wanted to give a few tips about parking and transportation here in Miami Beach. So if you're looking for rentals on something like apartments.com app or something like that, a lot of the listings say that they have parking, but what they're actually referring to is quote unquote street parking, which is actually the city of Miami Beach permit parking for residents. And that is something you do have to apply for. And not every apartment in Miami Beach is eligible for street parking. So that's definitely something to consider if you are planning on bringing a vehicle and you're looking at a place and it says street parking. I would definitely look up the zone maps, which you can find at miamibeach.gov, and that'll give you an idea of what parking zone you'd be in, and then you can maybe go ahead and call the city just to make sure that your address is eligible for street parking, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you get a really good deal on a rental, but then you end up having to pay a lot of money to park in a garage that's not next to your place, or you're going to have other issues. Also, if you're planning on having a lot of guests, there are visitor permits that are available, but again, they're not available for everybody. So those are things that you definitely want to check out before you actually commit to a place here. Another thing about transportation, there's City of Miami Beach offers a free trolley, and that'll take you from South Beach to North Beach. They have several loops. I think it may be, they operate from 6 a.m. to midnight, Monday through Saturday, and then on Sundays, I believe it's 8 to midnight, if I'm not mistaken. And so that's just a small trolley that'll get you to and from areas in Miami Beach. There is no access to a metro in Miami Beach. You actually have to go to downtown for that. So if you are considering using the metro, just be aware that you will have to either drive or Uber or take the bus downtown to actually get that. And that'll take you down to Kendall, to Coral Gables and Brickell and all of that, but you won't be able to get that in South Beach. Another really good tip, if you're looking for a really good deal on a rental, I would definitely recommend checking out Zone 2, and that's the parking zone. And Zone 2 is pretty much from Alton Road to about Washington, and then from 5th Street up to Lincoln Road. That's pretty much a really strong concentration of residential zoning. So there isn't too much commercial there, but there are schools. If you do have kids, I believe there's a middle school, and there's definitely an elementary school right there south of 5th. So you'd be pretty much walking distance, again, to everything. But I think, in my opinion, and you can check apartments.com and all that stuff to confirm, but there's a lot more inventory in that area of South Beach than pretty much anywhere else in Miami in terms of finding a good deal. And by a good deal, I mean pretty much under 1,500, which if you put under 1,500 into any of these apps, you're not going to find too much in mainland Miami. So again, I would highly recommend zeroing in on those zones, and you'll probably be able to find a really good deal. However, the only drawback with that zone is the parking issue, which I mentioned. A lot of those apartment buildings don't have garages or private parking, so that's something to consider. But again, if you're really looking for a deal, that's really where I would head first. Another quick tip about finding a really good deal on a rental in South Beach is to actually move away from the apps. So I think if you're out of state, the apps and Craigslist and all that stuff is a really good way to get a lay of the land. However, you're not going to find the best deals there. If you do have time or you live close enough that you can take a few days to actually walk around South Beach, you should definitely look for rental signs that are either by owner or by rental communities and get in touch with those people or building managers. Even outside of Zone 2 and on the Bay and on Collins and the nicer areas, a lot of really good deals are not listed because there's constantly people that are searching for good deals on rentals. So getting in person, getting in touch with building managers and looking for rental signs is going to be the best tip for finding the best rental in South Beach. Something else that may not be obvious, especially when you're looking online for a good deal, is that West Avenue and Alton Road, those streets are more residential than Collins and Ocean Drive. So if you want to look for something in a more residential part of the beach, I would start looking off of Alton Road and West Avenue and Bay Road. I'm actually on the Bay now, and as you can see, it's obviously really quiet. It's pretty much only residents in this area. So if you're looking for a little bit more quiet and just, you're not really into the party scene and all that, I would probably head closer to the Bay, and that's going to give you more what you're looking for than toward Collins. However, if you're looking to live on the actual beach, meaning the sand, then you're definitely going to have to look on Collins and Ocean Drive, and obviously you can expect prices to reflect that. So just take that into consideration. So for those of you that work in hospitality and you want to know when peak season is here, it's January through May. So that's really when the beach is the busiest. So for residents, it means it's a little bit louder and a little bit more crowded because that's when everybody comes down to escape the winter. But realistically, we already start getting a pickup of tourists in the fall. So really kind of when it starts getting cold up north or, different sort of fall vacation times, that's really when the tourists begin to pick up, but it really hits peak from January through May. So you would also want to take that into consideration. During the summer, it's pretty much dead because it's really hot. So very few people actually come to visit. So if you work in restaurants and hotels, that may not be the best time in terms of earning potential. And finally, if you're a pet owner, just know that South Beach and Miami Beach are actually very pet friendly. So feel free to bring your dog. You could pretty much, I've seen dogs in the supermarket. I'm not saying that they're 100% allowed. They may be service dogs, I don't know. But definitely more than any other part of Miami, I see pets pretty much everywhere. So if you're worried about whether you can bring your pet with you, just know that it's definitely very pet friendly. They have the bags to pick up the poop and all that stuff all over, and again, pretty much most restaurants have a little bowl that your pet can drink from if it's really hot over here, so you can keep that in mind as well. So that pretty much sums up my tips for now. And again, that's based on my personal experience after having lived here for years. If there's anything that I left out of this video, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'm doing a series on living in Miami Beach. So anything you really want to know and you think would make good content to help others, whether they're moving here or they're living here and trying to figure out the lay of the land, I'd be happy to make some content to give you my perspective as a local, not only from Miami, but living in Miami Beach. And if you like this video, definitely hit like and hit subscribe if you want to get more content like this. And thank you for watching. And if you do end up moving here, I really think you're going to enjoy it. I mean, it's definitely different from other parts of Miami, and it really has a lot to offer, especially for people in hospitality, people with pets, people who don't really like to sit in traffic and want to live where they work and that sort of thing. I think there's a lot of opportunity here. So good luck.